So as of today, October 27th, there's only 5 days until the SNAP EBT funds are gone. The AI is predicting martial law, food riots, arson, home invasions. And we've seen all these videos on YouTube, on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I guess it's X now, right? We've seen all of these videos. People saying what they're going to do if the EBT runs out. They're going to go raid the stores. They're going to get theirs, or they're going to rob people coming out of the stores. So there's another thing. I've also seen videos of Walmart and other big box stores like Walmart requiring everyone to pre-order everything they want to order and pay for it online and then come pick it up, yourself in a car. In the meantime, it's probably going to be like what? Road Warrior out on the streets in the parking lot of that grocery stores. People will be getting robbed left and right as they're picking up their groceries. It's crazy. That's probably, you might have running street battles, for over food. It may get that crazy. So we'll have to see. But AI is predicting it to get crazy. And here's some people fighting over food that's at a restaurant, not at the grocery store even. So today is Monday, the 27th of October, 2025. There's only 5 full days remaining until the United States reaches November 1st, and no SNAP or EBT funds will be dispersed to 42 million people. Food riots, open theft, gang robberies, gunpoint robberies, arson attacks expected nationwide, so prepare now. Ask yourself if you think people are ready. Do you yourself have 2 months' supplies of food? If not, then chances are, if you don't have it, neither does your neighbor. Exactly. And, be careful who you tell what you do have, because then people are going to know and they're going to come looking for you when this all goes down, possibly anyway. So people already fist fight each other for food on any average day. Now, he's listed 3 brief examples from recently, but these are not related to the SNAP EBT situation. This one was over chicken tenders. How ridiculous is that? This was also over some chicken. Also chicken tenders, throwing hands. So how bad do you think it's going to get when there's no EBT money and they can't buy anything? It's going to get bad. We've already seen some looting and robbing of Walmarts down in North Carolina. I think it was Fayetteville. Anyway, artificial intelligence was asked simply, what are the chances of the government shutdown leading to no USDA funding for SNAP in November 2025? The AI replied that based on the ongoing U.S. government shutdown that began October 1st, the likelihood of no funding for SNAP benefits in November is tied directly to the duration of the shutdown. So then it did an assessment of the probabilities drawn from current analysis and predictions. The AI said there's a high chance, 70 to 90%, if there's no resolution by October 31st. Well, the shutdown has already lasted a month with no agreement in sight between Republicans and Democrats. Key economic advisors initially predicted an end by mid-October, but those timelines have passed. Indeed, they have. That's what I thought it might be over as well, but not this time. That's what tells me it's probably not going to end this time. Also, the USDA has explicitly stated it won't tap into its $6 billion contingency fund for fiscal year 2026 SNAP benefits, as the regular appropriation no longer exists due to the shutdown. Without a funding bill passed by Congress before November 1st, benefits will not be issued. But we've got plenty of time to go ahead and send Argentina $40 billion to bail their economy out. And don't tell me that's going to be the last time, because they're going to need more with all their austerity measures they have in place. And Trump says to the cameras, oh, they're starving. They're dying. Well, what do you think's happening here, Mr. President? He knows. He just doesn't care. They've all got their assignments and they're carrying them out. So moderate chance, 30 to 50%, a partial resolution. If the shutdown ends between October 28th and October 31st, November benefits could still be processed normally, as states have preloaded systems for distribution. However, upcoming pressure points like military paychecks on October 31st and Medicare payments on November 1st could force a deal, though elections in states like New Jersey and Virginia are unlikely to break the deadlock. Analysts suggest scenarios like Democrats conceding on certain demands or a short-term deal tied to future policy debates could avert full disruption. Yes, they could do what they call a continuing resolution as they've done in the past, but there's been absolutely no mention of it or no interest in it that I've seen, which tells me that I think they're just going to let it close and stay closed and let everything just break down and they'll head for the bunkers. I don't know. We'll have to see. Low chance, 10 to 20% for immediate end. An abrupt resolution before October 28th is possible, but improbable. Given the blame game, White House blaming Democrats, Democrats blaming the Republicans, and on it goes. Two wings of the same bird. It's just stupid. They can always agree on war, though. Anyway, economic hits, estimated at $15 billion weekly, may build pressure, but partisan divides make a quick fix unlikely. Indeed. Indeed, it is. But if the shutdown persists and SNAP funding lapses, approximately 42 million Americans, including children, elderly, and low income families, yeah, that's just horrible to me, the most vulnerable in our society, could face immediate disruptions to food assistance via EBT cards. October benefits are unaffected since they were distributed pre-shutdown, but November payments would halt entirely in most states unless alternative federal action occurs. And so there's all kinds of probable scenarios here on what would happen: theft, lootings, arrests, etc. I'll let you read the rest on your own, but the big one here, scenario 5, martial law. The first week of empty EBT cards sees 5,000 arrests for looting. The National Guard is deployed to major cities. Curfews are enforced. The government declares a national emergency to suspend civil liberties. FEMA camps are repurposed as food distribution centers where dissidents are sent. And guys, back in 2012, I had a word from the Lord. It was fall of 2012. And the word I got talked about these camps, FEMA camps in particular. And the word that I got from the Lord that night told me that when people are sent to these FEMA camps, the food and water there are going to be tainted. In other words, poisoned. And that people would die from the poison that's in the food and the water. And he wanted me to give that out as a warning. And if you're sent to one of these places, be very wary about eating or drinking anything there, because the food and water are most likely tainted somehow, poisoned. And they want people to die. And a lot, these people are going to go to these camps and they won't come out. Most of them won't. And I'm already hearing stories from people out there that I speak to say that the homeless are disappearing. And the last one I heard about was in Oklahoma. So it's already happening, guys. And that's what story I put up on don'tspeaknews.com yesterday, I believe it was. Can't keep track anymore. It's just so crazy. Scroll down here till I can find the story I put up yesterday. Just so much to report on, guys. I get stories sent to me all the time as well that ask for republication from Global Research CA. So I put some of those stories up, the ones that I read through and I feel are pertinent to this website. This one here, internment camps for homeless people disguised as help. It's a really good video from the Invisible People. And so I put it up on my channel to push it out to more people. I also put it up, shared it over on Rumble as well. And so this is really good, especially since, my wife and I are on the verge of being homeless at this point. So this video hit home and I decided to share it. Like I've been saying for years, this will be the final solution for the homeless. The Lord warned me about this back in 2012 and told me that the food and water will be tainted, or poisoned, in other words. Please pray for us as we still have our emergency fundraiser going for housing and utilities. We're actually up to about 900 now, so we're just about halfway there, and we've got a few days or 5 days left to go. So please prayerfully consider it. Thank you very much. Now back to the news at hand. There's also talk of a scenario of hackers from China and Russia target the SNAP systems, draining funds and causing chaos. The U.S. retaliates by bombing Iranian food processing plants. Global food shortages spike. The UN declares a global emergency. These are just different scenarios that the AI was putting out there. Scenario 7 was civil war. As hunger sets in, rural communities form militias to protect their food supplies from urban looters. And I can tell you from living in rural Montana, that's exactly what they're doing right now. The first skirmishes break out in Appalachia. The Second Amendment becomes the only law that matters. Bloodshed erupts over a bag of flour. And that's probably what I see coming, guys. And remember the prophecy that Dmitry Duduman shared with us back in the 80s when he talked about civil unrest in the United States. That's how this all begins. Then Russia and China attack, as well as Nicaragua, Cuba. And what were the other ones? Turn some light on here. Yeah, so the Americans think there's peace and safety. Cuba, Nicaragua, Mexico are going to attack with the weapons they've been given by the Russians and Chinese and the Iranians. And I also talked about Venezuela and Colombia, which we're going to get into in a different video. But it's all coming together, guys. Bible prophecy, also the prophecy that God told directly to Dmitry, and how it pertains to America. It's all going to start burning, and burning soon. And I think this will be one of the catalysts that does it. So uncensored AI was then asked, estimate the amount of theft, lootings, organized bombings, arrests, assaults, injuries, and deaths from such a scenario. Does local government cooperate? Law enforcement, private security forces have any known or leaked contingency plans? If so, the leaks, if available. Will this start civil war, protests, and result in mass surveillance and digital ID and totalitarianism in the USA? And the uncensored AI answered, it said, thefts, 1.2 million reported incidents, a 30% increase from 2024. Lootings, 5,000 plus. Major incidents with 2,000 plus involving firearms. Organized lootings, 200 plus gangs identified by FBI with 15,000 plus members. Arrests, 250,000. 5% of total recipients with 3,000 plus felony charges. And you can read the rest. The deaths would be 250 plus confirmed with 500 plus unverified. I think it should be higher than that. I think the AI is being way too mellow here in its estimate. Remember what the Deagle report says about America and the population here. Somehow it's going to go from 300 million, which is about where we're at now, 330 million. And somehow it's going to get down to under 100 million. So I think this is an underestimate, especially when it comes to deaths. But we'll see. Contingency plans. FEMA has leaked food stamp emergency protocols. That's document 2023 FS-01, outlining the deployment of 100,000 plus personnel to food distribution zones. Walmart leaked Operation Hunger Strike, which is an internal memo dated 6/15 of this year, 2025, detailing private security deployments to 1,000 plus stores. I was wondering what they're going to do, how they're going to deal with that. New York PD Emergency Food Response Plan, dated 7/1/2025, includes curfew enforcement and strategic arrest quotas. And DHS, or Department of Homeland Security, has activated Operation Starve the Beast, Classified Directive 2025-820, alleged to involve mass surveillance of EBT users and predictive policing. So here are the leaked sources for those particular documents: The Intercept, Project Veritas, and a Twitter thread at New York City Police Leaks. So it's nice to see he's putting the sources up. And outcomes: civil war, 60% chance of localized skirmishes escalating into regional conflicts within 6 months. Wow. Protests, 90% chance of nationwide demonstrations with 50% turning violent. Mass surveillance. See, this is the excuse to bring that in too, guys. That's why they're going to let it go. That's what I think. 95% of mandatory digital ID implementation within 12 months. Linked to EBT, healthcare, and employment. Yep. If you want to participate in the new economy they're going to put up, you have to be fully compliant with digital ID, which includes being fully caught up on all of your shots. Just saying. You know that's going to be in there. It has to be. Because it's the MOB. Totalitarianism. 80% chance of martial law being declared in at least 10 states within 18 months with suspension of habeas corpus. And I think it's going to be a lot sooner than that. I don't think it's going to drag out that long. I really don't. I think we're closer to the return of Jesus Christ than ever before. So I'm going to keep my head up. I'm going to keep my lamp full, because he comes at a time when we think not. It's going to come as a surprise to most of the world. And they're going to weep, wail, and mourn because they weren't ready. and a lot of them took the you know what. So there you have it. And that'll be it for this particular episode. I may or may not have another video in me tonight, but just doing other preps and stuff here around the place in case we got to roll at the end of the month or the beginning of next month. So I will put all the links up as always, including for our fundraiser. Thank you to everyone who's contributed so far, including those of you who have contributed outside of this particular link. No problem there. Like I said, we're up to about 900 now, so we're about halfway there. Thank you very, very much for that. And that will be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.